All right, guys, we got Tyson Fury versus Oleksandr Usyk 2 coming up. I'm super jacked for this fight. I'm going to break down the first fight. I just watched the whole thing in its entirety a couple of days ago, and then we'll jump into the second fight and how I see that going. So, first of all, the first fight, I hadn't been able to see the entire thing because I've just been working a lot. I saw the highlights. I saw Usyk rock Fury in the 10th round and all that. But going back and watching the first fight, I was smiling ear to ear watching this fight. Super high level. I'm a huge Tyson Fury fan. I'm a huge Oleksandr Usyk fan. You couldn't have two more skilled guys sharing the ring at the same time. Two master feigners, masters at setting up, footwork, boxing at the outside, boxing on the inside. Very, very high level stuff. And it was a brilliant performance. So when watching the first fight, I noticed a couple of things about these Ukrainian guys, these Eastern European guys in general. They are unfazed by mind games and mental warfare. They're machines. It does not register for them. And Tyson Fury is probably the best in all of boxing at this. He's a psychological genius, honestly. I know he's got bipolar issues and blah, blah, blah. But that guy is super intelligent. He really understands what he's doing, and he's a master of mental warfare. So in the first fight, I think that he saw what Usyk did to everybody else and just assumed that he was so much better than them that he was going to go in there and make it look easy. So I think that's why he was showboating. Also, Tyson Fury has always had this trademark granite chin and inability to get stopped. Yeah, he's been put down a couple of times. We've seen him hit the canvas, but we've never really seen him hurt. In this fight, when he got hurt by Usyk, I think that it surprised him. I think that when he was showboating and taking those shots, he was just eating them. And I think that he was just trying to make the point, you're the little man. You can't hurt me. I'm not even going to try to put my hands up too much. He boxed brilliantly in the middle of rounds. He took control. But I think a lot of it was just a little bit of arrogance and a little bit of pride. Although that's what I like about Tyson Fury, I truly believe that that's the only thing that cost him this fight. When he was controlling the middle rounds, he made a couple of adjustments. Brilliant adjustments, by the way, which is going to come into play later when we talk about the second fight. And you could see on Usyk's face, he was visibly frustrated trying to get to Tyson Fury and trying to box him the way that he normally does. Fury was in control of the middle rounds, absolutely. And yeah, he's a brilliant guy. So Usyk knows how to make adjustments as well. He's a world-class talent, but they're more robotic in their approach to things in general. What I do like about Usyk is I like the way that he moves. I like his feints. I like how he mesmerizes you with the lead hand, blocks your vision, does a lot of brilliant things in there, but they fight very rigid in as far as their game plan goes. Even Usyk in interviews has said, he does not deviate from the game plan. He does what his corner tells him to do, and that's the way he fights. And I honestly think that's going to be the difference maker in the next fight. And just a spoiler alert, I got Fury winning the next fight. So again, with the showboating and everything like that, I think that's what cost Fury the fight ultimately. But another thing I want to talk about is this. Those 3 wars with Deontay Wilder that Fury went through took not a lot out of him as far as the way he moves and the way he boxes. He looked absolutely astonishing in the Usyk fight. His skill levels have not diminished at all. But his chin, that's why Usyk was able to hurt him and stagger him like that. We've never seen Fury staggered. But when you fight 3 wars against the hardest puncher the boxing division has ever seen in all of heavyweight history, at least with that straight right hand, and you get cracked like that, even Tyson Fury is not invincible. So I think that that's his version of having, it's called cracking the guy's chin. After your chin's been cracked, you can crack it again. A lot of guys get knocked out simultaneously afterwards, like Volkanovski, for instance, in MMA. We've seen it in a million different capacities. But I think that's the X factor here this time. I think Tyson Fury would do well to understand that he doesn't have that granite chin that he used to have in the way he used to have it. It's still respectable. He can still take a punch, obviously. I mean, he even survived that, which is ridiculous. He was out on his feet, still just wobbling around and somehow even barely defending himself, but defending himself nonetheless. So, I mean, he's still a virtuoso fighter, and his will is second to none, but he can get hurt and he should understand that now. So the keys to victory for Tyson Fury, in my opinion, because I really had him winning that fight overall when he took control in the middle rounds, stop showboating, stay dialed in, and he needs to button that right hand to his jaw. He needs to button that right hand up there. Usyk was finding a home for the left hand all night long, and it was always when Fury was trying to avoid and move around like he always does, and he was always backing away, or he would reach his hand when he was pulling away, and Usyk would come in with those looping shots straight right through the middle. He threw it in a variety of ways, but he was landing it all night. As far as I could see from watching that fight, that's the only real threat that Tyson Fury has to face. If he could just button that right hand to his chin, eliminate those left hands coming in and doing real damage, I don't see any other way Usyk can honestly hurt him, and I don't think that he can outbox Tyson Fury in the long run if he sticks to his guns and fights a tight fight and doesn't mess around. Now, I'm not saying that because I don't like Oleksandr Usyk. I'm a huge fan, like I said at the beginning. I think he's a tremendous fighter. But here's the difference right here. Here's the X factor. Like I said, these guys fight like machines, these Eastern Europeans, and they are the most polished. They are the best at what they do as far as the technical skills goes. Tyson Fury has an abnormal level of ability, and he could change his style on the fly. He could fight on the front foot like he did with Deontay Wilder in the second fight and come and bully you and come get you. He could box on the back foot. He could stick and move. He could weave those styles together on the drop of a dime. So if you actually watch in the first fight, Usyk was kind of piecing him up and moving around him and giving him a hard time for the first 2 or 3 rounds. And even I noticed, I'm like, oh, he should start throwing lead uppercuts because Usyk likes to stand, with a very traditional stance. He doesn't really break out of that, and he always comes in moving forward. Tyson Fury's got long arms. You throw the lead uppercut, it'll catch him off guard. You're not always going to see him coming. And Tyson Fury made that adjustment. So the point that I'm making is that Tyson Fury is extremely self-aware. He's very sober in the way that he looks at things. Like he sees it for what it is. He knows where he messed up. Even on the fly, in the heat of battle, he knows what the decisions to make and what adjustments to make, and he makes them. So I look at Tyson Fury more like a creative genius, like an artist in there, who has that intuition that guides him and knows how to make adjustments on the fly, and he could become a whole different fighter right in front of you, whereas Usyk is technically perfect and brilliant, but he only fights in the rigid game plan that they set for him. I don't see him making huge adjustments on the fly. The one adjustment that I saw Usyk make, which was brilliant, was he turned up the pressure a lot in the later rounds when he started realizing that Tyson Fury was taking control of the fight. So that's something that I would plan for as well if I'm Tyson Fury. What I would like to see Tyson Fury do, and again, like he's a master boxer, so this is just my opinion, is, again, button the right hand to the jaw, stop showboating so you stay dialed in and you don't get caught with unnecessary shots. And when Usyk turns up the energy and starts coming in to get you, instead of trying to dance away and pull away side to side and move back and all that, which is the only time Fury was really getting caught, I would like to see him change into Deontay Wilder versus Fury 2 mode and go in on the front foot, smother Usyk, tag him on the inside and tie him up and take the momentum away. The thing about Usyk is that once you let him get momentum like a Lomachenko, he starts unloading on you like a machine gun, and he's sharp and he's tight and he's phenomenal. You do not want that. You have to break that momentum as soon as it begins to accumulate. So if I was Tyson Fury, I would switch the backwards motion and the side-to-side motion when you feel Usyk's energy heighten and meet him in the middle. Forward motion, boom. Take the momentum away from him. You're the bigger guy. He's an excellent boxer on the inside too, despite his arms reach, which is crazy. And I think that he can neutralize Usyk. I wouldn't say fairly easy, but fairly easy, So I think Usyk understands that as well. If you look at all the interviews, Usyk is not sugarcoating anything at all. He's a class act. He's an honest guy. I'm a huge fan for those reasons. And he even said right to the interviewer, he goes, no, it was an extremely hard fight for me. He goes, I had a really difficult time getting to him. He's like, he's a very powerful opponent. Usyk knows what he's in there with. Again, go watch the first fight in rounds like 4, 5, and 6. You could see he was visibly frustrated trying to get to Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury was just floating around the ring. It was glorious. So I think Usyk knows what he's in for. Also, this is another thing I wanted to touch on. Tyson Fury is going around and he's acting like he's not that upset about losing the first fight. And he has this rhetoric now. Oh, it's just business. I'm just here for the money. All I see is green. I'm just here for a paycheck. I don't care about the belts. I don't care if I win or lose. It's just the money, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. That dude is furious that he lost this fight. It has gotten to him. That's his way of playing mind games. And I'm telling you, this guy is coming to win this fight. Do not listen to this bullshit rhetoric that he's spewing out. Again, Fury is a master at mind games and at mental manipulation and at psychology in general. He is an absolute genius. He's not okay with this loss. He's not just there for the money, and he's coming in to get his status back, his crown back, and his belts back. Make no mistake about it. And I think that Usyk knows that as well. So the X factor in this fight is really going to be, it's not going to be whether or not Tyson Fury makes his adjustments necessarily. I mean, that is a factor of it, but it's going to be, can Usyk adjust to Tyson Fury's adjustments? And that's really going to be the deciding factor. If Usyk can adjust to Tyson Fury's adjustments, then now you're seeing a world-class talent that is beyond even Tyson Fury himself. I don't think that's going to happen as great as Usyk is. I think he has too many disadvantages in this fight. the height, the reach, the fact that Tyson Fury is self-aware. Also, guys, Tyson Fury even said in an interview multiple times, he is self-aware. They asked him, like, what do you have to do differently in this fight? He goes, I need to stop showboating and pay attention and stay focused. If I had done that, I would have never lost that fight. And that was my assessment as I was watching the first fight. I'm like, oh, he's got the uppercut working for him. He's got him at range. Usyk's frustrated. He needs to stop all that bullshit. He needs to stop joking around and focus because this guy's dangerous. And he realized that. He didn't make just flat out excuses for the reason why he lost, even though he thinks that he won, sure. But he did acknowledge where he went wrong, and he is right about where he went wrong. So if he closes that gap and closes those windows, Usyk is going to have a hell of a time, if not an impossible time, winning this fight. That's how it's going to go. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that Usyk is going to come back and, clean his clock again and make it look even easier than the first time? I really don't think so. I think Tyson Fury is every inch the talent that he was. I just think that chin is not exactly the same as it used to be. And I think that he needs to accept that and make adjustments for it, which he absolutely can. There is no skill that Fury does not possess. So I see it going to a decision. I mean, he did rock Usyk with that uppercut, I think in like the 5th or 6th round, somewhere around there. It was a really great shot. But because of the way that that Fury's approaching this fight, he did say he's going to fight basically the same strategic game plan, which means he's going to move around a lot. He's going to keep him at range, stick him with the jab, throw the lead hooks to the body and to the head, frustrate him, use his size, use his distance in his range, etc., etc. And I think because of that, he's not going to press for the knockout. However, if he takes my strategy, right, and instead of letting Usyk gain the momentum, he turns on the heat during those moments and comes inside, I think he could hurt Usyk, and I think he could stop Usyk. So we're going to be talking about this more and more as the fight goes on, but I highly recommend going and watching the first fight in its entirety if you have not. It was a high-level chess match filled with action, filled with heart, filled with grit, filled with stamina, endurance, like all the things that makes boxing great. It was one of the funnest and best fights I've watched in a long time, and I cannot wait for the second one. So again, guys, we'll be touching on this more and more as the fight gets closer, but I just wanted to do a quick little video and do a fast breakdown of what I see and what I notice. Let's see what happens as the fight goes on. Let's see if Tyson Fury gets a little bit more serious and keeps things nice and tight. All right? Until next time, God bless and peace.
KO.